Hi, the coming week will bring the UK's first very warm spell of the season, but just how high could temperatures rise? Let's take a look. As well as being increasingly warm, it's going to be mostly dry, as this animation shows. The reason is that high pressure stays close to the UK, although by next weekend uncertainty about where it will be centred starts to increase. In turn, that will be having an impact on the weather which we experience. Before then, temperatures are rising more or less on a day-by-day basis, and that's because the air under the area of high pressure is warming up. You can see an increasing amount of yellow shading over the United Kingdom on this sequence. With high pressure being in charge of things, there won't be very much rain around, the exception probably western and northern Scotland, as can be seen on these two charts, which are showing forecast rain totals for the coming 10 days. The one on the left, the ECM has slightly higher values across England, Wales and Northern Ireland, but that's mostly falling during the day 5 to day 10 part of the forecast period, and by then uncertainty of course is increasing substantially. So I started off by asking just how high could temperatures rise. Let's have a look at some of the forecasts from various computer models. Starting with the UKV model, this is the high resolution one run by the Met Office. Maximums here are for Thursday, the 1st of May. 28 degrees in the south, even in Scotland and Northern Ireland, 22 or 23, well above the seasonal norm. It's not the only model, of course, from many. Here's the output from another one. This time it's also run by the UK Met Office, but it's the global. And that goes a little bit further ahead, but it's run at a lower forecast resolution. Forecast maximums here are for Friday, 26 degrees in eastern England, so a little bit lower. Next, the Canadian global model. In recent days, this has been a cheerleader for high temperatures. It's more or less consistently been near the top of the league table. And the sequence here shows forecasts for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. And I think you'll see on Thursday and Friday, it's going for 28 degrees in the south before cooling a little bit by Saturday as the position of that high pressure starts to change and somewhat cooler air begins filtering down across the UK. I've dug through the Ensemble data too to see what the maximums it is suggesting are going to be. Ensemble models are ones which are run many times, so they produce a number of different forecasts to help account for uncertainty inherent when looking more than a few days ahead. Therefore, I've cherry-picked the highest values from the GEFS Ensemble model and put them up here. These are for Wednesday and Thursday, 24 and 27 degrees. Friday and Saturday, 27 and 26. So reasonable consistency with the other models which I showed a little bit earlier. Often I think the GEFS has a tendency to underestimate maximums by a degree or two, so that's worth bearing in mind. The data table here shows the output from the GEFS, and it's useful to highlight when the warmest day is likely to be. Based on it, it would suggest Thursday the 1st of May or possibly Friday the 2nd. You can see on those two columns there's a significant amount of red shading, 19% dropping to 13%, and lots of the orangey pinky shading, 68% and 58%. Those are runs going for between 21 and 25. The red shading 26 to 30. As I said, though, GEFS has a tendency to undershoot by a degree or two. The key thing here, I think, is when the highest temperatures are likely to be recorded rather than the absolute values. And as I mentioned, by next weekend, the uncertainty grows. Where is that high pressure going to be centred? Here's one scenario from the UK Met Office Global. High pressure is to the north of the UK, and at this point, low pressure to the west, the southwest, is starting to bring an increasing risk of rain. Another possible outcome is shown by the ECM model, high pressure having more influence still, although centred further west, and cooler air is starting to move down its eastern flank. Hence, temperatures are lowering across the United Kingdom. So, to summarise all that, high pressure is going to be bringing a lot of fine weather in the coming days. Very warm, good agreement about that happening. How high will temperatures climb? I'm going to plump for 28 degrees. I wouldn't be surprised if they reach 29, but I don't think that's the favoured outcome. A very low chance of 30 degrees being reached, but it's not discounted. So if you like warm and increasingly sunny conditions, you're in luck. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. As ever, then, if you did, please consider hitting the like button below and subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Of course, stay up to date with the day-to-day weather developments by checking out the weatheroutlook.com website. Thanks very much now. Bye.